So the first season of Lovecraft Country has finished, and there seems to be a lot of uncertainty about whether it's going to be renewed for a second season or not. And so with this video, I just kind of really wanted to throw it over to you guys and ask, are you optimistic about Lovecraft Country's future? Do you think it will get a second season? Is there enough of a foundation there for it to build upon? Or is that kind of it for this new black-led horror sci-fi TV show? Is it just one season, in and out, quick and easy? Wham bam, thank you, man. Is it man or ma'am? Thank you, ma'am. I mean, it must be ma'am because fam. Let's take a look, shall we? Hi, my name is Elliot, and Hakuna MaChatter is your place for all things diversity, inclusion, and representation in film and TV. And if that sounds like the kind of thing you love, consider hitting that subscribe button. Okay, for starters, how many black-led horror sci-fi TV shows are out there at the moment? Yeah, I did a little Google search and a search on YouTube as well, and the answer's 0. Well, obviously there's Lovecraft Country, but even that didn't come up in the searches I made. Now, of course, that could just be how Lovecraft Country is optimized on the Google search, but yeah, I don't think that would be the case. Like, I feel it would be somewhere because, well, for starters, there is a complete gap in the market that Lovecraft Country is filling. And with a first season now complete and fully out there, you feel it is in a position where it could completely dominate and, heck, even usher in a new wave. And, you know, I'm thinking in the way that Game of Thrones ushered in a new wave of fantasy on TV. But, I don't know, is Lovecraft Country quite there yet to do what Game of Thrones did? I mean, is there any show that's ever going to do what Game of Thrones did? So, like, do you think Lovecraft Country has enough of a foundation where it can now build into something bigger and really hit that mainstream viewing? I mean, let's take a look at the creative team behind it. I'm going to start with Misha Green, who is the creator and lead writer on this show, and I think that she deserves the backing of HBO into a second and third season, definitely, especially when you consider even just the single episode of Rewind 1921. Episode 9 of Lovecraft Country Season 1 was hands down just one of the greatest episodes of TV I have seen in an incredibly long time. I mean, the emotional stakes, obviously the setting of the Tulsa massacre, but seeing all the moments that our three lead characters had in Atticus, Montrose, and Letty, and that final sort of climax of the episode, it left me just like palpitating, crying, just everything was flowing through me. And then of course Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams are exec producers behind this show. Now look, I know J.J. Abrams hasn't been very good at, bringing a satisfying conclusion to stuff, but Jordan Peele was able to bring two great endings to Get Out, so surely there's, some optimism there for how the show could progressively go and in the end finish. So like, is there anything holding Lovecraft Country back? I mean, do you feel the show was consistent? I know for a lot of people the episodes were a bit up and down here and there. For me personally, episode 2 didn't stick the landing, but there were 8 episodes that followed that were absolutely tremendous. Or is there just too much of a targeted audience? Is it really looking only at appealing to one demographic? Is it not really appealing to a more mainstream viewership? I mean, already horror and sci-fi are quite limiting genres, I feel. Sure, there's a lot of fans for both those genres. I'm not saying that they ain't good genres. I'm just saying that they're not really as mainstream as maybe a comedy or a drama TV show is. But then yet, of course, there are shows like Stranger Things and American Horror Story that have vast amounts of viewers, and you look at The Haunting on Hill House and Bly Manor at the moment as well. And then if we do boil it down to the fact that it is a black-led horror sci-fi, like, that's popular. Get Out and Us are testament to that, so surely that can't be the reason why people aren't flooding to this show. So what has kept Lovecraft Country from exploding into a household name? And should you be optimistic about the future of this show? For me, I think it's all pertained into one sentiment that I see a lot, and I'm sure you have as well. That sentiment is, instead of tokenizing a character from my favourite book, comic, or cartoon, why not just make a completely new story? Okay, look, now, come on. We know that when someone says that, like, they're not actually going to go and support that new story. Heck, that isn't even the point they're actually making. But I think within that sentiment is where Lovecraft Country has both struggled to really lift off into the mainstream and why, yes, you should be optimistic about its future. With more and more black-led TV shows and films being made year on year, it's going to get to a point where the people that sit there and say, just make a new story, that's all they're going to have to watch, because those are the stories that are going to be made. If you keep asking for new stories to be made, then all you're going to get is the new story to be made, and you're going to have to watch them new stories, and guess what? You're gonna enjoy them. And Lovecraft Country has a real opportunity to be the massive pioneer within that, and to be that show in a few years' time. We turn around and go, oh hey, did you like this new show? Well, guess what? Lovecraft Country was doing it back in 2020. For now, Lovecraft Country might fade away a bit while we wait for news on a second season, but in a few years' time, it will be that show. I think that we will be applauding for ushering in a new way, for starting something new, for being different. It's told a completely different story. Yeah, it's told an old story about race relations in the 1950s between black and white people, but then at the same time, it chucks in that horror and sci-fi, and it gives us something interesting and new to watch that we just haven't seen before. So hold optimism, because the market is open for black-led horror sci-fi, and Lovecraft Country is selling all the goods. But as I said at the beginning of this video, I really wanted to throw it over to you guys. What do you think? Are you optimistic that there will be a season 2, season 3, season 4, season 5 of Lovecraft Country? Where do you think season 2 of Lovecraft Country will go now with the ending of season 1, how that all ended? No spoilers, don't worry. But let me know if you have watched it, what you feel, and what you think will happen season 2 Lovecraft Country. I really want to know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching this video. Check this video out here, check this video out there, subscribe up there. See you soon.